happening, people? And welcome back to Gav Goes In. Big up yourselves each and every time. And as always, guys, make sure we smash that like button. Obviously, help the channel to grow. Obviously, the algorithms have been messing up. So, yeah, make sure you smash the like button. And, yeah, man, just interact with the channel and give me your questions and your comments. So, yeah, obviously, Premier League action is back now. Thank God. You know, no distractions. No distractions now until the March international break. Obviously, where the squads will be getting finalised more or less for the World Cup. So yeah, we can just focus now on Premier League action. Obviously, the Champions League as well. So yeah, man, some good football coming up. So looking forward to it, man. And as I said, man, whenever it's the international break, you know, it's always silly season with the transfers, and you know, what I mean, it's one of them things where you know, it's just frustrating with watching some of these internationals. You know, there were some actually decent games that were on. You know, you think of the Scotland game, you know, winning, was it 3-2 against Hungary? You know, last minute goal more or less. Well, sorry, was it 3? No, yeah, it was 3-2. No, that was Scotland. That was Wales. Sorry. Is that Wales? No, Ireland. Sorry. Ireland beating Hungary 3-2. And then you think of the Scotland game. So Ireland beat Hungary 3-2, yeah. And then you think of the Scotland game. I can't remember who Scotland played. Was it? Oh, Denmark. You know, that last minute goal from Kenny McLean from the halfway line. So, yeah, man, some good international football. But obviously, club football is where it's at. And obviously, Premier League is back now. And the some of the fixtures on that weekend, man, are going to be interesting. Big up to Fitz. Big up my guy for coming through. So, yeah, man, there's some big games that are coming up. Guys, also, obviously, when a few of you do come in, I'm going to mention it. Give your notifications a check, man. So, I think YouTube are doing something on there where they've put everyone's notifications on personalized. So, it's only going to target when you're most active online. So when I come live, the notifications might not come on. So if you check your notifications and just tick it to all, so you can see when I go live, man. So big up to Ronnie, bro, as well. Big up for coming through. So yeah, guys, listen, we're going to get into it anyway. Obviously, Manchester United playing on Monday against Everton, Old Trafford, 8 p.m. kickoff. And yeah, man. So Ronnie says, do you want me to donate? Donate what, my guy? Is that for the boxing? Is that for my boxing fight coming up? You mean? So yeah, listen, man. Let me know if it's for the boxing. So guys, as I said, if you got on your notifications, it might have been changed to personalized. So if you can, man, make sure you tick it to all, just so you guys are getting the notifications, because obviously YouTube is on a madness at the moment. But yeah, we're gonna get into it anyway. Manchester United versus Everton on Monday, and listen, it's a massive game for me, for Man United. You know, again, I'm gonna put a poll in right now, just so we know. I know a few of you have probably answered already. But I want to know how many points you reckon United get from the next 4 games. Spare me 1 minute. What is acceptable for me? Let's see. So let's see. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well to help the channel grow. Smash that like button, guys. Come on. Let's see. So yeah, let's see, guys. So how many points in the next two games for Manchester United is acceptable? Let me know. Put that right there. So yeah, guys, let me know how many points you think Man United need to get in the next two games, which is Everton and Crystal Palace. You know, for me, I'm gonna say nothing less than 4 points for me. You know, a win and a draw. You know, I think is fine. 3 points. Nah, I think United definitely for me need to get 4 points minimum. I'm not going to accept United losing a game, and that's what's going to happen if it's 3 points. So I'm going to say 4 points is a minimum for me, definitely. So anyway, guys, yeah, we're going to get into it. Obviously, Man United in seventh, playing Everton in 11th. Obviously, Old Trafford, 8 p.m. kickoff. And potential lineup I'm going to go through. So, and again, let me know what you think United's lineup is possibly going to be. Obviously, no surprises in goals. Sene Lemens, been a big plus since he's come into the club. I do think, that people are possibly getting carried away with Lemens. I think Lemens has been good, but as I said, man, let's see what happens to the end of the season, because there will become points where he's going to become under pressure. Big up to Daniela, Foxy Danny now, big up. Big up to Messi as well. So yeah, listen. So Lemens in goal. As I said, I think since Lemens has been in goal for United, United are actually unbeaten. I think what's going to be telling is that when United do eventually get beat, how will Lemens come back from that? This is what the biggest question is going to be. But I think at the moment, he's undefeated. I mean, he's unbeaten since he's been in goal, and surely the confidence from that he'll take into the next game. So for me, no surprises there. The three at the back, guys, I think this is going to be interesting, yeah? And I'm looking at Everton's back line. I'm looking at their attack as well. And I think some people, I reckon, will be annoyed that Lenny Yoro, for me, I don't think Yoro starts. And again, it's not because Yoro's not good enough, but this manager has a habit, Ruben Amorim has a habit of trying to match up with what the other team's doing. So I think the fact that Everton have got Tarkowski, who's very good in the air, Michael Keane's decent in the air. You got Shane O'Brien, obviously, as well, who plays right back for Everton. He's good in the air. And then you got Beto as well, who's 6 foot plus, who's good in the air. So you're thinking of four players there that are all good in the air. I think Harry Maguire plays. And I think it's going to be the back three of Luke Shaw, left side centre back, Matthias de Ligt in the middle. Sorry, Harry Maguire in the middle, and then Matthias de Ligt on the right. So that means Lenny Yoro has to settle for a place on the bench again. So and again, I'll be very surprised if Amorim doesn't play that back three, because as we said, I think Amorim does react to the other team, and for me, that's never a good sign for a manager. Because as a manager, if you've got your way of playing, I understand there will be like little tweaks here and there, but you know, as we've seen with Amrim, he more or less sets up for the opposition. And I definitely think Harry Maguire plays. I'll be very surprised if Maguire doesn't play, put it that way. So yeah, that back three of Luke Shaw, left side centre back, Harry Maguire in the middle, and De Ligt on the right. I mean, yeah, the right side of the defence. I think that's the way that Amrim's going to go. The two wing backs, Ahmad for me is going to play. And on the left-hand side, the thing is, you've got options, because I mentioned this before. The fact that Mazraoui has gone from being very important to now really just being a bit part player under Amrim. I know he's been injured, but I can't see how Mazraoui gets into this team under this manager, because he likes to play Dallo. And if I'm looking at Ahmad playing right wing back, which again we hate seeing him, well, I hate seeing him play there. I think on the other side, it's going to be between Dallo and Dorgu. So I think Mazraoui again will be on the bench, which means that even though Dallo's been that poor, this manager just has a fetish with Dallo. So I can see Dallo being shoehorned into this team again, playing as a left wing back. So I think Dallow's going to play, which means, yeah, Dallow back in the team yet again. You know, if you're thinking that Dallow come on against Tottenham, you know, I think it's quite easy to say that this manager wants to play him. So me personally, I'll start Dorgu, but I'm looking at what Everton have. And again, we'll get into Everton's team and their danger men as well. But I think just based on that, I think Dallow's going to play for his defensive. So I think Dallow plays left wing back. The midfield two, again, no surprises. Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro will be in there. You know, this manager, again, that is his preferred choice, which means no place for Kobe again. And obviously you have to believe that Kobe will be going to be trying to angle for a loan move. You know, whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But again, it's going to be Bruno and Casemiro midfield again. And that means obviously, Ugarte back on the benches, Ugarte on the bench as well. And then I think the two tens and the striker. Now, obviously, Sesko's out for the month, and the obvious thing would be to play Joshua Zirkzee, you know. But this manager, as I've said many a times, this manager does not rate ball players. You know, he does not rate footballers. So the fact that Joshua Zirkzee cannot even get game time when Sesko was available, you know, I mean, why would we think that this manager now, having Sesko out, is going to play Zirkzee now? And again, he loves Mason Mount, so the obvious thing would be Cunha again in the 9, Mason Mount left 10, Mbeumo right 10. And I think that's the way he's going to go. You know, I'll be very surprised if that team he's picked is not the team he's going to go with. So Lamens in goal, the lit right side centre back, Harry Maguire in the middle of the three, left side Luke Shaw, the two wing backs Ahmad and Dallo, and then you got Bruno and Casemiro in the midfield, and then Mbeumo right 10, Mount left 10, Cunha through the middle. And again, as we know, Cunha is not as effective through the middle as he is as a 10, because he's actually a 10 anyway. But again, this manager, you know, can we trust him to play Joshua Zirkzee? No. And as I said, man, Zirkzee, just like Kobe Minu, you know, them two there will be angling for a move, no doubt. And it's a shame, man, because, you know, you can never go into a game confidently knowing that this manager is going to pick a team that you're happy with or pick the right team, you know, because I fully expect if Mason Mount's fit, Mason Mount will be playing in that left 10, and Harry Maguire will come back in. And who would have thought, yeah, we're going to see a team of Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, and Mason Mount all playing. Three players that really and truly, you know, this club needs to really move on from. But those three are definitely playing for me on Monday. I'll be shocked if they're not, put it that way. So yeah, man, I can see that team being that team. But yeah, let me know what you think. Big up to Exedra as well. Man says looking festive. Do you know what? I just put this hat on, man, because it matches my jacket. So and obviously it's cold as well, man. So yeah, I thought I'd just put this on, man. This American hat, American beanie, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man. Christmas around the corner as well. So yeah, man, getting that festive spirit, man, as they say. Guys, come on, make sure we're smashing the like button. There's only 4 likes and there's 8 of you watching. Or sorry, 10 of you watching. So smash the like button. Help the channel to grow. And guys, make sure you put your vote in as well. So at the moment, we've got 29% on 3 of them, which is 2, 6, and 3 points. I mean, anyone that thinks 2 points is acceptable for Man United in the next 2 games really shows that we're in the gutter, man. Because 2 draws against Everton and Palace is acceptable? Because I don't think it is. You know, at least one of them games he has to win. He has to win. You know, so as I said, I think anything less than 4 points is what should be targeted. And guys, as I said before I forget, Make sure you guys check your notifications because YouTube have changed up everyone's notifications for some reason. So a lot of yours might now be set to personalized. So if you can, make sure you change it to all, just so you know when I go live. So you guys get the notifications. So just give that a check when you can. So yeah, that's what I think Man United's team's gonna be. I don't expect too many changes. And yeah, listen, me personally, I think 6 points is what should be targeted. But I think because the standards in this fan base are so low, you got people saying 2 points, which is crazy. I'm saying 4 points as a minimum. So that's where I'm gonna say. If we're thinking United have got Everton at home, which won't be an easy game, at Old Trafford, where United have been better than they have been away from home, you'd have to say 3 points. Away to Palace will be difficult, but if we're meant to be going in a positive direction under this manager, which again is a lie anyway, then why can't we be aiming for 6 points or 4 points minimum? Why can't we? And again, listen, yeah, I'll be disappointed as well. I think 6 points has to be what the target is. So when I'm seeing 2 points or people just accepting 3 points, I don't agree, because that means you're accepting the loss if you're going for 3 points. 2 points, two draws. What's the point? So yeah, I think 4 points minimum, but aim for 6. And if he gets 4 points, then I'll be like, do you know what? Fair enough. Still unbeaten, and he's got to win in there some way. So yeah, man. Listen, I fear, if I'm honest, I think we get 1 point. I think we're gonna get beat by either Everton or Palace and pick up a point somewhere. So I can see 1 point, and 1 point is unacceptable over them 2 games for me. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, guys, we're gonna go into Everton's team, because again, I think Everton under David Moyes, he's gonna make them hard to beat. They're in 11th place, and I think if Everton actually win this game, they go level on points with Manchester United. So again, this table is tight. You've got so many teams that are battling for similar positions, 11 games in, and to think that 11th place against 7th is 3 points. So it just takes, all it does is take a win from Everton, and Everton will be level on points with United on 18 points. So this is how tough it is and how tight the table is. But Everton, for me, they're going to play a 4-2-3-1, which is the formation that I believe United should be playing, funny enough. But obviously, Jordan Pickford will be in goal, massively experienced, obviously England's #1. And I'm not actually sure how many clean sheets he's got, but I think he might have a couple in there. But he'll be in goal. Their back four, I would say, is quite a physical back four. You think of Shane O'Brien at right back. Is it Shane O'Brien? I think it's Shane O'Brien. I know it's definitely O'Brien, Irish guy. He'll be at right back. Ukrainian Vitaly Mikalenko at left back, and then you got Tarkovsky and Michael Keane, I believe, will be the 2 centre backs. And again, it's mad what's happened to Jared Branthwaite, because this was a guy that was linked to Man United and linked to be a future England defender. And I'm not sure if he's injured, but all of a sudden, you don't really hear about Branthwaite no more. And this was Man United that put a bid in for him and that were looking to spend 70 odd mil on him. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. But yeah, Keane and Tarkovsky, obviously the captain. And this is why I think Harry Maguire plays, because of the aerial threat of O'Brien, Tarkovsky and Michael Keane. Not to mention, obviously, whatever striker that Everton play. So I think Maguire definitely plays because of that. Midfield, Idrissa Gana Gueye, and then former Man United midfielder, James Garner. I think those two will be in the midfield. Garner's got very good set pieces. Idrissa Gueye is like a little pit bull in there. Is a ball winner. I liken Idrissa Gueye to very similar to Fred. Obviously, right-footed. Fred's probably more of a goal threat. And Fred's probably, I'll say they're probably about equal on the ball, I would say. But he'll be in the midfield with James Garner. And then this is where it gets interesting for Everton. Because For me, they've got two players that really could be playing for Manchester United. Because they're two players for me that should be playing for the top six sides in the team, and that is Jack Grealish and Iliman NDI. And I think those two players there are going to be the match winners. I think if Everton do anything in this game on Monday, those two are going to be heavily involved. Because as I said, they're two players for me that are top six players. In terms of ability wise as well. No doubt, two of the best attackers in the league based on ability. The fact that NDI as well, if you think of NDI previously being at Sheffield United, he played as a 10. And obviously when he went to Everton, he played out from the left. And now Grealish is there. He's now playing on the other side on the right. But, you've got those two, and then you've got Kiernan Dewsbury Hall as the number 10. And to be fair, Dewsbury Hall's a very good player, very underrated, left-footed number 10. And I think between Dewsbury Hall, NDI, and Grealish, Man United need to be wary of all three of them players, because them three there have got the quality to hurt United. Obviously we know what Jack Grealish is. NDI is more or less getting more recognition now, but he's a top player. And Dewsbury Hall, I think, is underrated. I think Dewsbury Hall obviously was at Chelsea from Leicester. Obviously, Chelsea got too many attacking options there for him to hold down a regular place. But at Everton, him, Grealish and NDI behind, which I think is going to be Beto, that is a problem there. That's a problem for the majority of the teams in the league. I'll probably say for any team in the league, really. They're a handful if those four get it together. You got the pace of Beto and the physical and aerial presence. And again, Beto's someone that he's a tryhard, you know what I mean? So it work when you've got three players that are, that are kind of like playmakers, mercurial talents. You need a tryhard as a striker, and that usually does work. So yeah, I definitely think, man, they're going to be a problem. I'll take NDI for sure. Sesko isn't going to end up good enough, in my opinion. Yeah, listen, NDI is a top player, man. He's a very good player. Obviously, number 10 plays from the left, plays from the right now. And again, I think Tottenham were looking at NDI, but getting him out of Everton is not going to be easy. So, but yeah, no, I'll definitely take NDI, man. But I think when you've got Cunha there, I just can't see if United going for another left winger in a sense, or attacking midfielder. Because if you look at Man United's team right now, United don't have really any wingers. The only winger they have, in a sense, and he's more of a wide forward anyway, is Mbeumo. Ahmad for me is a 10, even though Ahmad has been playing out wide, and his game might be a bit more suited now to being a wide player. I'm still going to see Ahmad as a 10, and I'd like to see Ahmad being given a chance in a different system as a 10. But in terms of United's wide players, they ain't really got wide players now, really. The only wide player they have is Mbeumo. And obviously, as we know, he's playing as a right 10. So, yeah, man, I think, yeah, I don't see United going for NDI, man. I think it's going to be a difficult deal to get him out of Everton. And United have obviously other targets now as well. So, but yeah, Sesko isn't going to end up good. Again, as you know, man, I didn't want Sesko in the first place, but as I keep saying, man, Sesko's an even better signing because it meant that Rasmus went. So, again, Sesko for me hasn't been great. There's been points in games where, he has done good bits, and there's been points where he could have done better. But I'll always say this, yeah, there was a clamour for this club to get Victor Gyökeres in the summer, yeah? Even though Gyökeres ain't great, but there was a clamour for him, for United to get Victor Gyökeres because he scores goals. Now, all of a sudden, when Gyökeres was going to go to Arsenal, it was accepted that United now can go for Benjamin Sesko, a guy that scored 13 league goals in the Bundesliga as his highest tally. 11 or 13, I think it might be 13. So again, it don't make any sense. But he's here now, and for me, Joshua Zirkzee should have always been the preferred choice anyway. But this manager, as we know, he likes tryhards. He can't relate or doesn't really like ball players. So yeah, there's no point keep going over the same thing. Until this manager's gone, we're not going to see good football. So it's like a survival mode with this manager. He's just going to keep surviving until Ineos make a change. Because to think that, the majority of the best players are on the bench in terms of footballers just tells you all you need to know. Fans are getting onto Cunha. Cunha's having to play as a nine because the manager refuses to play a Xerxes there. And again, on Monday, I expect Cunha to play through the nine again, playing the nine again, and not have a great game. And what I will tell you, yeah, if he plays Cunha in the nine and Cunha has a bad game, it's to be expected because you've got Tarkowski who's going to try and rough up Cunha, even though Cunha can hold his own. Of course he can. But when you're playing with your back to goal, it's a different kind of game. And Cunha's better facing the goal. So if this manager plays him as a nine, I just hope no one gets onto Cunha because it's not going to be Cunha's fault. He should just be playing Cunha as the left 10, Joshua Xerxes as the 9, and then Buemo as the right 10. But again, this formation, you got players playing in the wrong positions, and he just doesn't see Xerxes, as a 9, which is crazy. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what he does, man. But 100%, if Cunha plays through the 9, I'm expecting him to not really have a great game because you got Tarkowski, who's, in terms of centre backs, he's quite a physical centre back, and he's going to be trying to, stay close to Cunha, and then obviously Michael Keane as well can be doing the same thing, and he's quite aggressive as well, Tarkowski. So that could be a problem for Cunha, but who knows, man. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to this game, man. My predictions for this game, if he goes with that lineup that I said earlier, with big up to Critter Edits, says, hey, what y'all talking about? Football. It's a football channel. We also talk about boxing, wrestling, and UFC as well, and just general talk as well. But big up for coming through. So yeah, my predictions for this game, if he does play what is to be expected, the team that I said, Lemens, Maguire, De Ligt, Shaw, Ahmad, Dallo, Bruno, Casemiro, Embuemo, Mount, Cunha. I'll probably say a draw. Because I'm looking at United's last couple of games against Nottingham Forest and Tottenham, and there's no denying that United have got away with two results there. They've got away with 2. Big up to United fan. Big up, my guy. Big up. So yeah, I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw. 1-1 draw, but who knows, man? There could be a winner, but I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. A score draw. So yeah, man, it's not gonna be easy, but because I'll tell you now, Everton are not the team from last season. They're gonna be solid in defence, but they've got players in the attacking areas like Grealish, like NDI, that will cause problems, And if I'm looking at potentially who Grealish will be up against on that side, you're looking at Ahmad, who's better as an attacker, but will have to be doing a lot of donkey work going up and down. And then probably Matthias de Ligt. And again, I prefer Matthias de Ligt in the middle of the 3, but you'd be confident that de Ligt can that de Ligt can shut out Jack Grealish, but it's not going to be easy again. And again, Jack Grealish is very adept, guys, at winning fouls. And if he's winning fouls, and then you've got someone like Garner that's got good delivery, and they've got the physical presence in the air that they have, again, man, it's not going to be easy, man. I look at the other side, Luke Shaw up against Iliman NDI. That'll be a very good battle because Luke Shaw, recovery pace is very good, physically strong as well. But you got NDI, man, who's a bag of tricks, and he's unpredictable. So again, man, yeah, that's gonna be a good battle. And this is why I think he plays Dallo to help out Luke Shaw. If it was me personally, I'd play Dorgu to give them a problem going the other way. But I've just got a feeling he plays Dallo for me. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna say 1-1 draw, man. 1-1 draw. But if he does draw this game against Everton on Monday, I'm sorry, Crystal Palace has to be a win. And I know it's not gonna be easy, but it has to be a win. Has to be a win. Guys, come on, smash the like button and make sure we sub to the channel if we're new in here as well. And give me your questions, give me your comments. Let me know what lineup you think Ruben Amorim's going to play, or how or what a lineup you think will be a good lineup to play as well. And guys, make sure you're getting your votes in as well. So we've got, is it 16 votes at the moment? And the majority think 2 points is acceptable, and I would like to know who's been voting for them 2 points, because you cannot be Man United fans, seriously, if you're voting for 2 points. Because if it's acceptable for United to get 2 points and have 4 draws in their last 4 games, then sorry, man, I don't know what to say. Because you'd be better off losing a couple of games and then getting 3 points rather than just getting draws. Crazy. So who do you play? So we got Everton on Monday Night Football. Everton and Crystal Palace. At home to Everton, away to Crystal Palace. So again, for me, two difficult games, I would say. I know people were saying that United's running in the next 5 games is easy. Well, not easy, but it's favourable. I don't really see it like that, because any game that United play is not favourable under this manager. So they are 2 difficult games, but again, the pressure's on. So I think 4 points is a minimum. I'm not going to accept United losing any of these 2 games. So I think 4 points minimum. Guys, Kian, stop spamming Cole Palmer. We are going to be getting on to the weekend's action, man. So yeah, appreciate you coming through, man. But there's no need to keep spamming the same thing. I will get back to it when I can. Okay, so I think it's people saying how many points we're recently getting rather than we should be getting. Okay. So guys, yeah, on the poll itself, let me know what okay, yeah, so maybe I've worded it a certain way. The way I meant to word it was I should have put how many points are acceptable, you know. For me, acceptable is 4 points. How many points are we gonna get? The fact that people are saying 2 points, again, is there's no faith in Amorim, and I can't really blame you. So, again, apologies. I probably read that. I probably put the question a bit wrong. So, I think the majority of you think we're going to get 2 points, which I can't really blame you, to be honest with you. But I think we have to get 4. Have to get 4, you know. This manager is done anyway, bro. We need someone else. Yeah, listen, but it's nothing different to what we've been saying anyway, because it's just the fact that he's still here, is laughable. But I do think sometimes it's wasted breath, man, just going over the same thing, because Ineos have shown that they're not serious so far. And one thing I will say is Man United are 7th right now. Don't be surprised if United end up in 10th or 11th very, 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 very soon. And that isn't because the players are not good enough. It's everything for me comes down to this manager, because Man United have players that are capable of winning games. They have footballers in this team, but this manager doesn't want to play them. So, unfortunately, man, the buck stops with the manager. So this is what we have to kind of focus on. So I think you'll win one of them. Well, let's hope so. Man United have to be one of them. The next 2 games, it has to be at least a win in one of them. Everton or Palace. I think if we're being serious, I think the game against Everton is probably where you'd look at and say, at home, United have a chance of winning. I think away to Palace is going to be difficult, because Palace are actually a very good team under a very good manager. So that would be more difficult. But again, I don't want to hear excuses, man, because this man just had money to spend. He's been there now for over a year. So 4 points to me, man, has to be the target. Has to be the target for me. Gav, when Amarin came in, I was excited, but I've had enough. We need someone else because we will end up getting relegated. And again, to think, I mean, if I'm being honest with you, yeah, Man United will never get relegated. They won't, purely because we have got too much quality in the team. Yeah, and again, this team ain't nowhere near for me winning the title. You know, if you change the formation and then bring in, you know, a couple of more players, then I'll be a bit more excited about United's chances in trying to go for a league title. But as it stands under this manager right now, he's the biggest problem. But when people say United get relegated, Man United won't get relegated because there's players there that just won't allow that because there's quality there. The problem with this manager is that, as I've mentioned so many times, he's just hell-bent on this system. He's hell-bent on his player profiling, and his player profiling for me is wrong. And the fact that he doesn't like to play the actual footballers, this is where the problem is. If he had this system and he identified certain weaknesses and strengths of other players and played them in the right system, you know, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be as annoyed in a sense. But the fact that he consistently, you know, just does the wrong thing and his substitutions are a joke as well. This is why he's always going to be under pressure, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, it's a frustrating watch. And as I said, what is the plan with this manager? Because he's playing survival football. Like I'd argue that of anyone, he's playing survival football because the football that he plays is not sustainable, and it's not really going to get United anywhere. So, as much as people want to try and defend him, you know, the way that Man United play, relying on individuals, how long is that going to keep happening for? You know, because I go back to the games where United got over the line. In all of Man United's games they've won this season, can anyone actually say that they've actually won them games comfortably? Because I don't think they have. Liverpool, they were lucky. Chelsea, they were lucky. Um, the Sunderland game, you'd probably say that's one game where, fair enough, they won that game. The Burnley game, they were lucky and it wasn't a penalty. What's the other games? So Burnley, Sunderland, Chelsea, Liverpool. Was there another game in there? Oh, and Brighton. And Brighton, we were lucky. So, you know what I mean? Because if you think of the Patrick Dorgu, really another day he should have been sent off. Luke Shaw fouled Rutter, which led to Mbuemo's goal. So again, United have been lucky in all the games that they've won. That's not a good sign. So again, you have to ride your luck. I understand that. But, you know, I just look at, is this football sustainable with what he's doing? The fact that United can, you know, be in cruise control against a poor Tottenham team and end up being 2-1 down, and it's taking a Matthias de Ligt last minute header to salvage a draw. You know, that's a problem there. The Nottingham Forest game, you know, again, and Ahmad won the goal, which salvaged a point. If you look at those two games, that's 6 points dropped. United are back in the bottom half. So this is the fine margins with football. This is how quick football can change. So yeah, man, it's one of them things. But listen, we're gonna move on anyway. Obviously, the weekend fixtures, we're gonna go into it. Obviously, lunchtime kickoff between Burnley and Chelsea. And again, if Chelsea win this game, Chelsea go into second, 3 points behind Arsenal before Man City play Newcastle in the later game. So again, to think that Chelsea have had really an up and down season so far, they can go 3 points off of Arsenal in second before Arsenal play Tottenham in the North London derby on Sunday. So again, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think that this league is just up and down, up and down. Obviously, Cole Palmer, freak accident at home, is now out for a further 3 games. So it's mad the games he's missing because they're all massive games. So he's missing, say massive games. He's missing Burnley, he's missing the Barcelona game, and he's missing the Arsenal game. So again, man, that's just bad luck, and it's crazy to lose, you know, their best attacker as well for a further 3 games. But I'm looking at Chelsea and I'm thinking against Burnley, I don't think it'll be easy because Scott Parker does set them up quite well, quite defensive. But I think if Chelsea have anything about them and they want to mount a title challenge or a top four challenge, these are the kind of games at lunchtime you have to be going to Burnley and winning. And I can see Chelsea winning this game 3-1. I think they win this game 3-1, even without Cole Palmer. I think 3-1, I can see them winning. And again, that puts them into second place, 3 points off of Arsenal. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at this title race, or the fact that Arsenal were in cruise control. All of a sudden, you know, and again, if Chelsea win this game and they go 3 points behind Arsenal, and then Arsenal get beat by Tottenham, let's say, the next game's Arsenal-Chelsea. And if Chelsea was to win that game at home, they're level on points with Arsenal. So again, it just shows you, man, how quick this league can change. If any team puts together a couple of wins in a row, you know, they're going to find themselves shooting up that table. You know, so, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yep, and we were saying what people didn't want to hear. Was it us being good or Arsenal being diabolical? Again, it was Arsenal just being poor. When I hear people say that Man United play well against Arsenal, again, I watched the whole game and I didn't see that. I just think Man United were just better than Arsenal, but that's because Arsenal just weren't great. Was it that Man United made Arsenal look poor? I don't believe it was. I just think Arsenal were poor and United just played slightly better, but United still got beat. So what does it really matter? You know? That's the thing, man. That's the thing. London derby on Sunday, 3-1 to Arsenal. Do you know what? I'm going to surprise people. I'm going to go for a draw. I think Tottenham-Arsenal draw. You know, I think the fact that Gabriel's out, you know, I think that might put Tottenham a bit more confident. I think I've heard that they got Odegaard, Gyökeres, Martinelli, and there was someone else that might be back. Oh, Kai Havertz, I think, might be back into the squad. But you'd have to think Tottenham play a lot better than they did against United. So I'm gonna say a draw, man, for me. I've been Ruben out since the Europa League final. He's tactically inept. Big up to Mr. Life. I agree. I agree. The fact that this manager, you know, managed to survive getting beat by a Tottenham team in the Europa League final, finishing 15th with a Manchester United team and breaking all these negative records, and he's still here, it shows you as a club, as a fan base, we've failed because the standards have been lowered. Because to think that Louis van Gaal got sacked at half-time after he won a trophy, you know, to think that Mourinho, for me, had to go in the end. He won a couple of trophies at United. You know, all these managers that were there before Amorim have done a better job, but yet this guy, for some reason, is being persevered with because of what? You know, and these are the problems. But yeah, listen, man, it's nothing that we haven't said already. The fact that he's still there is a joke, you know, but we have to just wait and see, man. Just take it game by game. And that's why I'm saying he has to get minimum 4 points next 2 games. Otherwise, it's panic stations yet again. Because I'll tell you this now, Man United are quickly going to find themselves in the bottom half very soon if they don't sort things out. You know, I think as a playing squad, you know, Man United should be aiming for top 6 as a minimum. But under this manager, can you really be confident? Because I can't. Yeah, his in-game management's an absolute joke, man. An absolute joke. Absolute joke. The things with me, yeah, I'll tell you where it's concerning with him, yeah. Against Tottenham, yeah, you've got Ahmad playing in the 10 and playing well, even though he is a 10 anyway. But because this man just so hell-bent on his system, and when you take off certain players, it means he has to now revert to playing Ahmad back as a wing-back. If you're seeing Ahmad's playing well at number 10, don't make the change. He's like a kid. He's like a kid in the sweet shop, yeah, where he's got so many subs and he just uses all of his subs for no reason. The Dallo sub made no sense. You know, Dorgu was playing well. but he's just desperate to put Dallo on, and he knows he can't put Dallo on for Ahmad because Ahmad's one of our best players, and there's going to be uproar. So this is the problem, man, with this manager, unfortunately. Guys, I'll get back onto your questions in a minute. Just go through some more of the fixtures. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Obviously, Liverpool are in ninth at the moment. This was a team that was unbeaten, won 5 games in a row. They found themselves in ninth. But again, Liverpool can find themselves in the top 3 if results go their way and they win. I think at home to Nottingham Forest, you'd have to think Liverpool would actually get over the line at home. I think if they were away from home, I would say they're probably going to struggle. But I'm gonna say they win this game at home. I think Florian Wirtz is out injured along with Conor Bradley, but his lineup's gonna be interesting for me for Arne Slot because I think Isak back now. I don't know if Isak's back, but Ekatike has to play. I reckon he goes Ekatike, Gakpo, and Salah. Then probably a midfield 3 of Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch. I think Frimpong probably plays at right back if he's playing, if they're at home, or he could go with Szoboszlai at right back and then try and get in a Curtis Jones in midfield. Left back, I mean, it should be probably Robertson, but Kirkes might play. And then you got Van Dijk, Kanate at the back. So, but yeah, I think you'd expect Liverpool to win that game at home. And as I said, Liverpool have been poor, but the way this league is, all it takes is for a couple of results, as I said in a row, a couple of positive results. And then all of a sudden, you're going to find teams in positions that you might not have seen. So, yeah, man, it's one of them things. But I think Nottingham Forest, what was their last game? I forgot how they got in their last game. But the Man United game, they were unlucky, to be fair. But it was an Ahmad wonder strike, really. But yeah, they're in what? They're in 18th position, which is poor. I think they're better at home than they are away from home. But again, they've got some players there that will be looking to put on a performance to be in the shop window. The likes of Elliot Anderson, probably Gibbs White as well. I know he's signed a new contract, isn't he? Elliot Anderson. I like Murillo as well. I think Murillo's good. So yeah, man, they've got some players there, man, that will definitely be attracting interest from Liverpool. I think Liverpool could look at Murillo and Anderson. So they're 2 players that will probably want to be putting on a performance. But I'm going to say Liverpool win that game, man, at home. Bournemouth, West Ham. Sorry, Liverpool are in 8th. Sorry, not 9th. They're in 8th. And then Bournemouth are in 9th. Yeah. And again, I think Bournemouth have lost their last 2 games. So they're playing at home against West Ham. And I think at home, Bournemouth are strong. I think West Ham have won their last 2 games, though. So West Ham have they're up to 10th now under Nuno. And I think with West Ham, as we know, they've got Paqueta, they've got Bowen. They're 2 key players in attack. But their defence is a bit suspect at times. And I think them going away to Bournemouth, I'd expect Bournemouth to probably pick up some points. Whether it's a draw or a win, I don't see Bournemouth losing this game at home because at home they're very good at home. On that tight pitch. So yeah, I can see Bournemouth. I think Semenyo might be out injured though. I think he's a doubt for the game, and if he's missing, that could be a problem for Bournemouth. I'm gonna say. I mean, I don't know. It might be a draw because West Ham have won their last 2 games, so they'll be in confident mood going in that game. Do you know what? I'm gonna say a Bournemouth win. I think Bournemouth might nick it 1-0 or 2-1. But again, Semenyo might not play. I think if Semenyo doesn't play, that could change it. I think if Semenyo's definitely out, I'm probably gonna say a draw. But if he does play, I think they could possibly beat West Ham because Semenyo's a key player for them. The downfall of Liverpool is a joy to see. Spend that much money to be worse. But again, there was no forward planning from Liverpool. You know, I said this at the start of the summer. The fact that Arne Slot never went to a three at the back to one, you know, get more from Salah in terms of him losing his legs and being close to the goal and having Frimpong, who is actually a wing back, as his legs. You know, Kirkes can play as a wing back. You know, if you get Van Dijk, who, you know, isn't the same Van Dijk that he was, but if you get pace around Van Dijk in Kanate and a left-footed central defender, that'll bring out a better Van Dijk for me. Florian Wirtz, again, coming from Leverkusen with Frimpong, they're used to playing in the free. So the fact that he never tried that is odd. But again, man, this is obviously he's got his own plan. But they definitely need to win this game. I think even a draw for Liverpool is poor. And after the battering that they got against Man City, I think if you're a Liverpool fan, you'd be expecting them to win that game. No doubt. Next game, Wolves versus Palace. So Crystal Palace in 10th against 20th Wolves. Now, as I said, man, Palace are a very good team under Oliver Glasner. And I think Wolves are on 2 points. They picked up 2 points in 11 games, which is poor. But they got a new manager in Rob Edwards, formerly of Luton and Middlesbrough. So I think personally, at home, new manager bounce. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Wolves are due a win. They are due a win. I just don't know if it comes against Palace, because Palace are a very good team, man. And I would say if Palace were at home, there's no way Wolves beat them, in my opinion. But maybe the new manager bounce might be, you know, it might work in their favour. Who knows? But I don't know what to make of this game. I don't know what to make. I'm gonna say Palace win because, as I say, Palace are a very good team. You know, they're a very good team. They're a consistent team. You know, you think of Mateta, gets goals for them. I think Ismail Assar is underrated. You know, I think when you've lost the likes of Elise and Eze, and you've got Sarr there, I think Sarr's filled that void very good. You know, he's a goal threat. You know, and he's got pace and power as well. They brought in Yeremy Pino, who's trying to provide that spark of what Eze did. But it's Walton in midfield, you know. He keeps the game ticking over. They got a very solid defence, and they've got willing wing backs as well. So yeah, they're a good team, man. And I think they beat Wolves. But if Wolves was to get a point, you know, you'd have to look at it as a manager bounce, really, you know. But I'm gonna say Palace to win that, man. So Wolves have beat Everton this season in the cup. Yeah, but nothing in the Premier League, man. 2 points in the league is poor. I mean, who were the two teams that they picked up points against? Because they should hang their head in shame, man. 2 points so far. Poor. Brighton versus Brentford. You know, that's going to be it. You know what? I look at Brighton and Brentford, and they're quite similar teams for me. You know, 11th versus 12th. You know, two young managers as well in Fabian Herzler and Keith Andrews. You know, you think of Brentford losing Embuemo. The fact that they went and got Dango Utara from Bournemouth, that was a very good signing from Bournemouth, from Brentford, because he's more or less the perfect replacement for them. And I'm actually surprised that Bournemouth let him go. But he's been good for them. But they've got Igor Jesus and they've got Kevin Schade, you know, that are a problem for many teams in this league. I think, if I'm right in saying, I think Igor Jesus is the second top goal scorer behind Haaland in the league. You know, and this is his first season as the main striker for Bournemouth. You know, and he's a handful. You know, he's got pace, he's got power, and he can finish as well. And Kevin Schade as well, he's a problem. Like, he's got pace and he does get goals. And to be fair, that front three of Utara, Schade, and Igor Jesus, with an experienced midfield in Jordan Henderson behind it, Mikel Damsgaard pulling the strings as well. You know what? Like, they're a problem, man. They're a problem team. So I don't think anyone should be sleeping on Brentford, because they are going to upset some teams this season. You know, they've already beaten Man United comfortably this season anyway. But Brighton at home, Danny Welbeck in great form. Um, Again, Yankuba Minte, I've already spoken about it before as well. They've got problems. I wonder if Matoma's back, because I think if you can get Matoma on the left, Minte on the right, and Danny Welbeck in the middle, that's not a bad front three, man. That's a problem front three there. So yeah, I think Brentford obviously are very good at home. But I think I can see a draw this game, because I think Brighton at home, I think they'll try and keep it quite tight and use, the pace of Minte and Danny Welbeck as well on the break. So yeah, Baleba, obviously Man United target. He'll be looking to have another having a strong game. Again, I just hope United go for Baleba in January, but I just don't know, man. If they go and put the money down, I think they should, but yeah, I have to wait and see. But I think that game's going to be a draw. Fulham versus Sunderland, you know, 4th versus 15th. I mean, Sunderland have to be the surprise package of this season. I remember I saying at the start of the season, all the promoted teams, I think the gap between the Premier League teams and the promoted teams, I think looks like it's getting even bigger. And I said Sunderland would be one of the teams that would definitely go straight back down. I think at this moment in time, that's not a possibility. But I look at the players they've signed Sunderland, Granit Xhaka, his experience, coming off the back of winning a Bundesliga title as well in Germany. You got Lucharel Gertruda. He was being tracked by, some bigger clubs before he went to Sunderland. You got Nordi Mukiele, was at PSG, Red Bull Leipzig as well. Chemsdine Talby, highly rated from Club Brugge. Brian Brobby, from Ajax, who got the equaliser against Arsenal. So yeah, they've brought in some players, man. They have definitely brought in some players, and yeah, I think they're one of them teams that, Dan Ballard as well, the centre back, formerly of Arsenal. They're one of them teams you can't sleep on either, because I think they're a team that are quite solid. They've got a lot of physicality in their team as well. And I think they're one of them teams that, you have to be wary of, and the fact that they're 4th as well. And to be fair, they deserve to be 4th because they've actually performed very well. They're not going to be a team that can be slept on. So yeah, I think I'll definitely say, man. I think because Fulham at home, Fulham are a decent team as well. They got a good manager, a very good manager for me, Marco Silva. I just don't know if Fulham beat them at home, man, because Sunderland have proved to be a difficult team. Iwobi versus Xhaka, yeah, 2 former Arsenal players. Do you know what? I'm gonna say a draw. But I don't know. Something's telling me that Fulham could nick it. Harry Wilson, he's he's a very good striker of the ball. You got Raul Jimenez. They have got players that can do things, but I just don't know, man. I think Sunderland have proven to be a bit of a tough side to beat. So yeah, I'm gonna say a draw. This is a massive game. Newcastle versus Man City. Now, for me, I believe Man City are playing before Arsenal in the next. Is it the next 3 or 4 games? I think they're playing before Arsenal. And again, that's going to put the pressure on, because it's now going to let Arsenal know what they have to do in order to keep Man City quiet. Now, if Man City win this game at 5:30 tomorrow against a tough Newcastle team, which is going to be at St. James's Park, and again, going to St. James's Park, if Man City win that game, I know Newcastle haven't been great, but that's one of the grounds you go to this season, that many teams will find it hard to get a win there. But if Man City go there and dispatch them, you'd have to start taking City very seriously. Again, City are my choice to win the league this season. But going there, I think if any team goes there and wins, they're gonna be serious for me, serious contenders. And the fact they play before Arsenal and Arsenal go into that North London derby, Arsenal are going to know what needs to happen. So yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting game. Um, I can see Man City winning though because you got Erling Haaland's just on a madness at the moment. City are starting to get into their groove as well. I think that performance against Liverpool, the champions at the moment, Liverpool, the way that Man City played and the way they just comfortably beat Liverpool and the performance that Doku put in as well, that's arguably been one of the best winger performances that I can remember for a while. Like he was unplayable and he got a goal to cap it off as well. So, and again, I'm not a massive fan of Doku, but when someone plays well, you just gotta hold your hands up. And I think personally, if City go to Newcastle and win that game, I think they're gonna be what? Um, I believe I believe they'll be 2 points off of Arsenal before Arsenal played North London derby, and obviously Arsenal got Chelsea next game as well. So they've got two derbies in London, Arsenal. So yeah, for me, this is a massive game for City, and again, City will be looking at this game as a game where they can really put the pressure on Arsenal because at home against Leeds, you'd expect City to win that, but this is the pressure game under against a Newcastle team that ain't playing too well, but at home, they're a tough team to beat with that crowd. So if City go there and win, then the pressure's on Arsenal, man. It's on Arsenal, definitely. Because if Arsenal happen to get a draw against Tottenham, and then go to Chelsea and City beat Leeds, if they beat Newcastle before Arsenal play Chelsea, they're level on points. And this is when the pressure really starts. So again, there was a quote from Pep. Pep saying that this is where the season starts. He's right, and I think he's basing it on the two games that Arsenal have, which are against London rivals Tottenham and Chelsea, and then they've got a tough game against Newcastle, but then they're at home to Leeds, where you would expect them to beat Leeds, and then all of a sudden that's 6 points, and they've closed that gap to Arsenal. So again, man, massive games coming up. But yeah, Newcastle. Again, I wonder how they're going to play because Walter Marder's going to be playing through the middle. Again, Vissa's not back yet. I've got a feeling he might start Elanga. I think Elanga might start that game. I don't know if Gordon's fit, but I think Elanga might start for his pace up against possibly Nico O'Reilly to try and force him back the other way. So, but yeah, I think his team selection is going to be interesting. But 5:30 kickoff, definitely watching that game. And I'm expecting Erling Haaland to continue what he's doing. Erling Haaland, you got Cherky, Foden, what's his name, Doku. Nico Gonzalez has been playing very well. Reinders was on the bench against Liverpool. He might come back into the team. Got Savinho out as well. Oscar, like they've got players. Marmouche. Eight Nori can't even get a game because of Nico O'Reilly. So again, man, they've got players there, man. So yeah, but I'm gonna say Man City win it. I'm gonna say 2-1 Man City. Leeds Villa. Villa have been in very good form. I think. Am I right in saying Villa's last 5 games they've won 4 and lost 1? I believe. I think their loss came to. Who was their loss against? Who was their loss against? I can't remember now. But I think Villa have lost. I think Villa have won their last 4. I've won 4 out of 5. I could be wrong. 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 5. So them going away to Leeds again. Leeds are probably a bit tougher to be at home, but I think you'd have to expect Aston Villa go there and show their European credentials really against a Leeds team that I think Leeds' target would be trying to stay up. If I'm honest, so yeah, I can see Aston Villa winning that one, but again, man, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a draw or a home win for Leeds because that's the way this league has gone this season. But yeah, I think Villa should be looking at that. And then we got the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. And again, I've already spoken on it, but this is a crucial game for Arsenal. I think, Gabriel being out injured is a massive miss. Calafiori as well. I I think I've heard that he might make it, but is Arteta going to risk him? Because I think if someone's not 100% fit, Arteta, this is why you're buying players for the squad. You know, you've got players that can play if Calafiori is not fully fit. You know, Odegaard and them are back now. I heard. I think they'll possibly be on the bench. Again, Arsenal's team, I can see him playing. Obviously, Raya in goal. I think Saliba and Mosquera play centre back. Timber will be at right back, and then left back's interesting because if Calafiori is not fit, does he go with Lewis Skelly, who's been looking for game time, hasn't been playing? Hincapié as well is a left back or left centre back. So there's options there. Midfield we know is going to be Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and I think Eze will play in the 10 as well. I think Odegaard will be on the bench. Saka will be on the right. On the left, I think he keeps with Trossard, and then up top, you know, Gyökeres and Havertz are back. Gabriel Jesus as well. But does he go with Mikel Merino? You know, these are the kind of questions that he's gonna have to answer, because this is when the heat's really on. You know, North London derby, and it's about getting your team selection right. So, but I think one thing's for certain, he's gonna have players that he'll probably look at that can come off the bench and do something. I think was it Madueke that was out that might be back as well. So again, he's gonna have players off the bench that he probably look at, but we'll have to wait and see how he lines up. I think Tottenham's team, for me, in attack, their key player that needs to come back is Kudus. Because I think if they can contain Kudus, that will go half the way to Arsenal trying to get a result. But I think if it's Kudus up against Lewis Skelly, if he does play, that'll be a good battle. Even if he's up against Calafiori, I think Kudus gives Calafiori problems. So, but against United, they were poor and they managed to be 2-1 up and then get a last minute. Well, Man United got a last minute equaliser. But I think Tottenham, if Tottenham want to do anything serious this season, I think first and foremost they've got to avoid defeat at home to Arsenal, away to Arsenal. Sorry, because I think if they avoid defeat, you know, I think their fans will come away with that positive. I mean, obviously a win's a bonus, but if they avoid defeat, you know, you probably look at that and think, do you know what? We're not really playing great, but we're not getting beat. So, you know, but I think the key for them as well is playing Richarlison. I think the fact that Gabriel's out injured, obviously Brazilian teammate as well, I think Richarlison's got the capabilities of unsettling that defence, because Richarlison's like a shithouse, you know what I mean? So I think he can mess around Saliba for me. Whereas if it was Gabriel knows him as a compatriot and he's more readily available to kind of stand up to that. But I think the fact Richarlison is available, you know, I can see him unsettling that defence, you know, with his constant pressure, you know, and the fact that he just, you know, he wants to get involved. So that could be a key, you know. On that left-hand side, I wonder if he goes with Odegaard or goes with Kolo Muani again, because Yuri Timber doesn't really get tested. So I think if he plays Odegaard is going to look to try and take on Timber. So I think that probably might be a better bet. Whereas the physicality of Kolo Muani, you know, he could look at that as unsettling Timber. I think Xavi Simons will play in the 10. I think there's no... Well, Bergval's out. Papa Sarr's out as well, which I think might be a miss. So I think he's going to go with Bentancur and João Palhinha. And again, I think away from home, that'll probably be better, because that will set up a nice defensive line for them, you know, and then allow the attackers to get on with it in a sense. So I think Thomas Frank might be looking at that. But I'm going to say a draw. And I think a draw will be good for Tottenham. I don't think it'll be good for Arsenal, because if Man City beat Newcastle, which I expect them to, Arsenal would need to beat Tottenham. Because they've got Chelsea next game, and City are at home to Liverpool, at home to Leeds. So again, man, yeah, it's gonna be a problem, man. 100% be a problem for them. But again, man, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's gonna be an interesting season, you know. I mean, in terms of the quality in this league, it's poor. It's a poor league, man, for quality. But for excitement and for competitiveness, you know, it is there. You know, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves each and every time. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. And guys, make sure you check your notifications because YouTube have been messing around with the notifications. So I think if you check it now, it might be down as personalized. Whereas try and change it to all, because obviously if it's down as personalized, it just personalizes it to when you're most active on YouTube. So again, if you change it to all, obviously you'll be able to see when I go live on the channel. So yeah, just a bit of advice for you guys anyway. But so as I said, guys, yeah, listen, Premier League football's back now, thank God. No more interruptions until March to the international breaks. And we can look forward now to some Premier League football, Champions League football. And yeah, we're definitely going to see, man, what's going to be happening in this running. So it's going to be good, man. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, tomorrow I might do a watch along. I'm not sure yet. I doubt it because I've got boxing tomorrow, so it's unlikely. But if anything, possibly do one during the week, Champions League games. I might do a watch along for the Arsenal Bayern Munich game, actually. I might do one for that. So yeah, if you guys want to come through and support the channel, then by all means. So yeah, man, it's going to be a busy week of football, man. So the sweaty shirt says 2-0 Everton, Endo and Keane. Boy, I mean, I can't really disagree with that, man. I mean, that would be ridiculous if United get beat 2-0 at home. But I'll tell you this for free. You know, this game ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, man, because as I said, you know, there's they got some threats in their team, Everton, and they're going to show that, man, on that game. You know, Grealish, NDI, Dewsbury Hall, them guys can all create. You know, and then I think this game will come down to, for me, whoever takes their chances. Because as we know, United don't really create chances like that. And it could come down to, again, individual brilliance. So we'll have to wait and see, man. But guys, big up yourselves. Big up yourselves each and every time. As I said, smash the like button. Sub to the channel if you're new in here. Share the channel as well. And yeah, I should catch you guys, if not tomorrow, maybe Sunday. Yeah, probably catch you guys, if not tomorrow, maybe definitely Sunday. But yeah, big up yourselves each and every time, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.